The Risorgimento Rebellion. Risorgimento means rising again in Italian. Italy's government has been through many changes, but initially it was created through a strong sense of nationalism and total rebellion. The leading players of the Italian unification are split into two categories: states and people. The states that made the most significant impact were Austria, France, and the Italian city-states, which include Naples, Piedmont, Sardinia, and Rome. The people who made an enormous impact were Giuseppe Mazzini, who founded the Young Italy movement, and Giuseppe Garibaldi, who united the Kingdom of Two Sicilies in 1860. Initially, the Italian city-states were decentralized, meaning they were separately governed. Because of the divide, most states were weak and became states that Austria and France controlled. Borders, culture, and language barriers separated the Italian people. However, one day, all of this changed. Giuseppe Mazzini founded the Young Italy movement and spread Italian nationalism in 1831. The Italian people fought for the right to create a unified state. After 11 years of war, Italy united under the annexation of Rome. While France and Austria thought that they had a right to control Italian city-states, ultimately, the Italians fought for a right to a centralized and unified state and the responsibility to fight for the liberty of Italy. Now that the Italian unification has been introduced, the background and context must be built. Before the widespread feelings of nationalism, Austria controlled Italian states like Lombardy and Tuscany. Because of the Napoleonic Wars, France controlled Savoy, Piedmont, Sardinia, Naples, and the Papal States. In the beginning, the rebellion faced troubles. Decentralized city-states meant that the Italian people were not connected through central government. Economic disparities between city-states limited Italy's right to growth and unity. Because of the different foreign rulers, Italian people could not communicate through a universal language. Along with language difference, another issue rose because of foreign rule, contrasting cultures. The culture of the South was primarily influenced by regional tradition and agrarian lifestyle, while the North was more connected to European influence and industrial economy. However, despite the differences, the North and South had one thing in common: the rights to expand and connect were being stripped from them because of foreign rule. Leading up to the Italian unification, key events allowed Italy to unify. Outside of Italy, the Enlightenment and other European independence movements inspired rebellion. The long-standing resentment towards foreign rule, mainly Austrian control in northern Italy, led to a distaste for non-Italian kings. The Congress of Vienna in 1815 made Piedmont Sardinia a significant power, which created a basis for centralization. The revolutions in Naples and Piedmont inspired nationalist and revolutionary ideas, and because Piedmont was powerful, other city-states followed. In the north, people began to believe that Austria's rule was suppressing Italy's right to independence. La Giovane Italia, also called Young Italy, was a unifying movement by Giuseppe Mazzini to promote Italian nationalism in the south. The Franco-Austrian War in 1859 initially weakened Austrian influence in northern Italy. The leadership and influence of figures like Count Camillo di Cavour and Giuseppe Garibaldi, who actively campaigned for unification, made people follow and fight for their rights. The successful Expedition of 1,000 in 1860, led by Garibaldi, unified southern territories and increased support for a single Italian united state in the south. Now that the topic and causes have been introduced, here's the story. Giuseppe Mazzini founded the Young Italy movement in 1831, which started it all. Mazzini's creation of the Young Italy movement marked a shift towards Italian nationalism. It united intellectuals and activists under the idea of a united, independent Italy and unique Italian culture. While it did not immediately succeed in political change, it laid the groundwork for future revolutionary efforts and inspired other nationalist movements across Europe. The revolutions of 1848 were a series of movements in Europe, including Italy, that fought against foreign rule. Initially, when King Charles Albert of Sardinia fought against Austria for independence, he lost in the Battle of Novara in 1849, but the Italians did not lose hope. and the Second War of Independence, Italy allied with France against Austria in the north and won Lombardy. Although the Italians won Lombardy, they gave up Nice and Savoy to the French because of the Plombières Agreement. In the south, the Expedition of 1,000, led by Giuseppe Garibaldi, gained traction in 1860. After the battles of Calatafimi and the Battle of Milazzo, Garibaldi captured key cities like Palermo and relinquished his authority in the Kingdom of Two Sicilies to avoid a civil war. A year after his success in the south, the Kingdom of Italy was formed on March 17, 1861. However, that was not the end. Italy wanted to occupy the entirety of the peninsula, not just the north. By 1871, Venice had been captured, and Rome had become the capital of the Kingdom of Italy, which finalized and legitimized Italian rule over foreign interference. Under King Victor Emmanuel II, Italy officially became unified. This is significant because the unification of Italy solidified the Kingdom of Italy as a national power and led to the creation of a distinct Italian culture that did not exist before. Previously, Italy's right to govern was limited by foreign rule, but after they became independent, they became responsible for their own government. The rebellion helped spread the ideas of Italian nationalism, and on a broader scale, aided the whole European nationalist movement. To unify, the Kingdom of Italy created a common Italian language and national government where king and parliament were responsible for the Italian people. Although weak, Italy became a European power, which shifted the dynamics in Europe even today. This contributed to the reshaping of alliances and conflicts in the continent. The turning point for Italy through the Italian unification is seen through the change of government, culture, language, and the gain of the right to rule as a sovereign state. And the government went from a foreign-ruled, decentralized city-states to a unified kingdom under Italian rule. Instead of a former foreigner's culture, the Italians created a unique blend of customs, art, and language to create an individual Italian culture. This new culture fostered a strong sense of Italian national identity and pride. Although Italy was unified under a common government, the North and the South faced troubles after unification due to an industrialization versus an agrarian lifestyle. In the South, people began to immigrate more to find new and better opportunities. The unification also paved the way for Italy's industrial and economic development, which eventually transformed it into a modern European state. On a broader scale, Italian unification was a significant disruptor in Europe. It created a new European power which shifted power dynamics. It caused more rebellion against foreign rule, as seen in German unification. And finally, the loss of Rome, the capital of the Papal States, caused the Pope and the Roman Catholic Church to lose power. Overall, the Risorgimento rebellion is one of the most important events of Italian history. People like Giuseppe Mazzini and Giuseppe Garibaldi were responsible for fighting for unity and leading the people in the direction of liberation. After unification, the Italian people gained the right to rule their own state, share a common culture, and be free from foreign oppression. The king possessed a new responsibility to govern fairly for the welfare of the Italian people. Without this unification, Italy would not be the same as it is today. That is the Risorgimento Rebellion.